The parable of new and old wineskins. In Mark chapter 2, we see Jesus Christ talking about this parable and explaining it. Let's read the verse. And no one puts new wine into old wine skins, for the wine would burst the wine skins, and the wine and the skins would both be lost. New wine calls for new wine skins. Basically, this verse is explaining the danger of trying to put something new in something old. New things do not work together with old things. Both would be lost, as we see from this verse. Okay, let's start by looking at these wine skins. Wine skins were used for the storage of liquids. They were made of animal skins, goat skins, for example. Wine, which had a special characteristic in that it fermented, was also used and stored in these kinds of skins. But because of this special characteristic, once wine was put in a new wine skin, it would cause the new wine skin to stretch out, thereby expanding to more than its original size. And once a wine skin expanded, it ceased to be new. They called it an old wine skin because it was fully stretched out. So if one were to take new wine and place it in an old wine skin, the new wine would force the skin to try to increase in its size, to expand. But since it will be old, it would have no room to expand. So the result was that new wine placed in an old wine skin would cause that old wine skin to be broken, to burst out. So the result would be loss of the skin together with the wine. Right, let's come to the application of this parable. We are looking at the Pharisees, basically the religious leaders and their followers, and Jesus Christ. The Pharisees were living under the dispensation of the law, which means the Pharisees were following the laws of Moses. They were loyal to Judaism. But Jesus came to bring freedom and grace. Jesus came to offer forgiveness. Jesus came to reconcile people to God, which is what we call salvation by grace. So, as we can see here, Jesus' life and the Pharisees are different. Jesus' life couldn't fit into the old forms of life. The good news brought by Jesus Christ did not fit into Judaism. The good news brings freedom. Judaism is about the law. So the law and the grace, they cannot work together. So what are we saying? We are saying Jesus came to fulfill the law and start something new. He came to fulfill the law and start something new. That is very important. So, what we are saying is, as the followers of Jesus Christ today, we must be prepared to have our minds renewed. We must be flexible. The Bible says in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. We need to be renewed in the way we live. We need to be renewed in the way we serve God. We need to be renewed in the way we look at things today. We must not be blinkered. We must not be rigid, but we must be flexible enough to follow Jesus Christ in everything that he wants us to do. Because the Bible is very clear. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. We must be prepared to part with some forms of tradition. Jesus requires new wine skins. Old skins are not stretchable any further. So he doesn't require them. They are rigid. Jesus cannot work with the old wine skins. Now, coming back to the Pharisees, we will realize something important here. The Pharisees failed because they were rigid. The Pharisees were examples of old wine skins. They could not accept life-changing truths. We are saying Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. But to these religious people, the religious leaders, the scribes, they stuck to the old systems of the law, the laws of Moses. So they could not understand Christ, and Christ could not work with them. So this is a very important message for us as Christians today, that we must be flexible. We must be able to understand the concept of freedom that Jesus Christ is offering to us through his death on the cross. So basically, this is what the parable which Jesus explained is about. Thank you.